Welcome back to Football Daily for a bumper edition of Transfer Talk. On Monday night, deadline day came to a halt, and sure enough, clubs across the UK were scrambling around to seal late night deals. We're going to take a look at some of the surprising stories from the night, some of the worrying moves that materialised, and the action you may have missed. Let's get straight into it. A main contender for this year's Deadline Day Desperation Award are Premier League basement boys Fulham. The Cottagers had a truly hectic evening as they hunted far and wide for a new centre-back, having seen a number of deals collapse at the final moment. Jean-Claire Todibo chose a loan move to Benfica, while a move for PSV's Timo Baumgartel died on its feet just hours before the deadline, with the player deciding he wouldn't improve in West London. However, when all seemed lost, Fulham chairman Tony Khan finally delivered, signing Lyon centre-half Joachim Anderson before announcing the capture of promising Manchester City youngster Tosin Adarabioyo on a permanent deal. But both have question marks over their ability. Anderson arrives at Craven Cottage just a year after failing to impress in France following a £21.6 million move from Sampdoria. Meanwhile, Tosin may have been successful during a loan spell with Blackburn Rovers last season, but the Premier League is a huge step up from the Championship. Khan might claim they were both principal targets, but after everything that transpired this summer, we have our doubts. With the defence sorted, they even managed to sneak in the loan signing of Ruben Loftus-Cheek from Chelsea, announcing the deal as the clock struck 12:30 am. A great signing, no doubt. It remains to be seen just how much of the mammoth £150,000 a week wages Fulham are stumping up. Frank Lampard is adamant Loftus-Cheek still has a future at Stamford Bridge, but for now, he will have to turn his attention to the Cottagers' desperate fight for survival. The Toffees have enjoyed a summer to remember and exit the transfer window in one of their most exciting moments in recent history. Three-time Champions League winner Carlo Ancelotti is starting to work his magic at Goodison Park thanks to a swathe of quality new additions. For just over £42 million, he has assembled a brand new midfield, with Alan arriving from Napoli to provide support to its base and Abdoulaye Doucouré adding some much-needed drive. But the blockbuster signing of the summer was undoubtedly James Rodríguez, who remarkably cost nothing from Real Madrid. 3 goals and 2 assists in his opening 4 games suggest the future is bright for the Colombian superstar at Goodison Park. But Everton weren't finished come deadline day. For under £25 million, they signed Ben Godfrey, the hugely exciting Norwich City centre-half, and just before 11 PM announced the loan signing of Roma keeper Robin Olsen. This could spell trouble for Jordan Pickford, whose torrid form has come under the microscope in recent months. Olsen managed to restore some of his reputation on loan at Cagliari last season after a difficult year with Roma, and will know he has an excellent shot at a starting berth in the Premier League. Ancelotti will also be thrilled to see deadwood like Sandro Ramirez moved on, while Moise Kean and Theo Walcott have both left on loan spells too. Top of the table, and with one of their best squads in years, Everton fans can start to dream again. Before we move on to our next section, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Football Daily and hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. What are you doing? We put videos like this out every single day, so you really don't want to miss out. Another club that enjoyed an incredible transfer window was Tottenham Hotspur. They pretty much ticked every box, revitalising the fullback positions with Sergio Reguilon and Matt Doherty, before adding steel to their midfield with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. The Lily-Whites even signed Joe Hart and finally found a backup to Harry Kane in the shape of Benfica forward Carlos Vinicius, who could stay in North London permanently if he can produce on the pitch. But of course, the most exciting transfer was that of Gareth Bale. Okay, he may not be the tour de force he once was, but a reunion with Tottenham can only be good news for the club and the Premier League. After all his troubles back in Madrid, a resurgence at Spurs could offer the 31-year-old the fairy tale chapter his career deserves. Yet even Tottenham was sniffing around for a deal on deadline day. Centre-back is probably the only position where they are short, and according to the Daily Mail, they made a late play for Manchester City defender John Stones. The offer apparently included a year-long loan with a £20 million option to buy, but the Englishman said no, determined not to uproot his family and desperate for redemption at the Etihad. A move for Swansea defender Joe Rodon in the coming weeks could be their next avenue. What else can we possibly say about Manchester United's summer business? This was the window that promised so much yet delivered so little, with deadline day proving to be worryingly hectic for the Red Devils. With no Jadon Sancho in sight, Ed Woodward desperately hunted around for an alternative at right wing. In Atalanta's Amad Diallo, they may have signed a genuine star of the future, but thanks to a passport issue, the £19 million teenager won't be arriving at Old Trafford until 2021. They also signed Facundo Pelitri from Uruguayan outfit Peñarol, but he goes straight into the development side. But he isn't the only Uruguayan to rock up at Manchester United. After months of inactivity, Edinson Cavani will be dusting off his old boots to lead the line at Old Trafford. There is no denying his achievements in the game, but is this really the transfer United fans had in mind? After all, Cavani is 33 years old, only scored 4 times last season, and is set to earn around £200,000 a week. It's hard not to imagine that panic was in the air when they moved for the former PSG star. Also through the door came Brazilian left-back Alex Telles, who finally signed from FC Porto for £15 million after being endlessly linked with the club. Why he didn't arrive sooner is anyone's guess. United officials can point to their new recruits and Donny van der Beek as improvements to the squad, plus success in moving on fringe players like Diogo Dalot, Andreas Pereira and Chris Smalling, albeit with Smalling the only permanent switch. But all things considered, this transfer window will leave a bitter taste in the mouth of every United fan. We finish with a quick roundup of all the deadline day deals you may have missed from the Premier League. Arsenal fans will be rejoicing both the arrival of £45 million man Thomas Partey and the departure of Matteo Guendouzi to Hertha Berlin on loan. The 21-year-old had been dumped out of Mikel Arteta's plans after a sequence of disciplinary issues, and a fresh start in the German capital may be exactly what he needs. Also moving to the Bundesliga from North London is Ryan Sessegnon, who has joined Hoffenheim on a season-long loan. The arrival of Sergio Reguilon at Tottenham has pushed the young Englishman further down the pecking order, so Die Kraichgauer could provide him with some much-needed minutes on the pitch. Southampton saw Sofiane Boufal and Guido Carrillo both leave on free transfers to Angers and Elche respectively, while Jack Wilshere was released by West Ham. The 28-year-old faces an uncertain future in the game, though the Daily Record have listed Celtic and Rangers as favourites to offer him a new home. For Wilshere's former club, their 3-0 drubbing of Leicester City seems like papering over the cracks, as they failed to bring in a centre-half, their priority position. After failing to sign Tarkowski, Fofana and Chaleta Tsar, they attempted to sign Chelsea's promising youngster Fikayo Tomori with a loan fee well above the market rate. However, in another devastating blow to David Moyes' plans, the 22-year-old called off the move with just 10 minutes of the window to spare. Luckily for them, they're still able to chase players in the Championship, with Watford's Craig Dawson potentially set for a move to the London Stadium. Finally, Leeds United concluded their summer business with the £15.3 million capture of exciting Rennes winger Rafinha. And in case you are wondering what happened to Michael Cuisance, the Bayern Munich star they thought they were signing before a failed medical, he has joined Marseille. So that's all we have time for this week's transfer talk, but don't worry, the window might be closed in England, but the gossip never ends, so we will be back every single week, forever probably. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a like, and of course subscribe to Football Daily if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.